Let's talk about reducing fractions. Remember we talked about equivalent fractions? For example, 1/2 is equal to 2/4 is also equal to 3/6, 4/8, 5/10, and so on. So these are all equivalent fractions, and 1/2 is the simplest term of all these fractions. And whenever you get a fraction for your answer, you have to check if it is the simplest term. For example, let's say you have 7/15 plus 2/15 is equal to 9/15. And check if it is the simplest term. Can you reduce that fraction? Yes. You divide the same number, which is 3, and 9 divided by 3 is 3, 15 divided by 3 is 5. And you can't reduce this fraction anymore, so this is the simplest term. 35/45. Can you reduce that fraction? Yes, you divide 5, both top and the bottom numbers. Then you get 7 here, and 45 divided by 5 is 9. Let's try one more. (20/32). Can you reduce that? Yes, both are even numbers, so I'll try 2 first. If you can think of bigger number, then you go ahead and try that number. So 20 divided by 2, 32 divided by 2, you get 10 here, and 32 divided by 2 is 16. And these are even numbers again, so I'll try 2 again. Then you get 5/8, and this is the simplest term. Instead of doing that, if any of you thought of 20/32 can be divided by 4, then you get the simplest term right away, and this is okay. In this case, you call this 4 the greatest common factor. 4 is the greatest common factor of 20 and 32. Let's talk about greatest common factor. What is a factor here? A factor is a number you multiply to produce another number. What do I mean by that? For example, 20 is equal to, what times what is 20? Can you think of a number quickly? 4 times 5. Can you think of another number? How about 2? 2 times 10. And also 1 times 20 is 20. And in this case, we only talk about natural numbers. Natural numbers means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. No fraction, no negative numbers, or no decimals. And factors are all these numbers. So factors of 20 are 1, 2, 4, 5, 10, and 20. How about 32? 32. Let's start with 1 times 32. And is 2 a factor? 2 times something can be 32? Yes, 2 times 16. And how about 3? No 3. How about 4? Yes, 4 times 8. How about 5? Nope, 5 can't divide 32. How about 6? Is 6 a factor? Can 6 times something be 32? No. 7? No. And we have 8 here, and I think we got the rest. So factors of 32 are all these numbers. 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, and 32. And take a look at these two lists. And there are common numbers, which are 2 and 4. We call them common factors. Among the common factors, the largest number is the greatest common factor, which is 4 here. The greatest common factor of 20 and 32. Many students get intimidated by the words greatest common factor. What does that mean? That means you get the list of factors of two numbers and find the common numbers in the list. The largest number of the common factors is the greatest common factor. There are more than one way to find the common factor, which we tried here already. The greatest common factor of 20 and 32 is the number that we divide here, which is 4. And if you didn't think of 4 right away and you keep dividing these numbers, then you multiply all these numbers, then that will be the greatest common factor, which is 2 times 2 is 4, which is equal to 4 here. Or you get the list of factors like this, and you get the largest common factor, and that is the greatest common factor. I don't recommend this way because if you have a big number like 96, you will have many factors and long list, and it's going to take a really long time. Instead of getting the long list, there is a nifty way to get the greatest common factor. This looks like upside down long division. We'll do something similar to a division. So find the number that can divide both 20 and 32, which is 2, or it can be 4, whatever you can find first. So these are both are even numbers, so I'll go with the easy number, which is 2. So 2 times what is 20? Is 10. And 2 times what is 32? Or 32 divided by 2 is 16. Do that again. And what can divide both numbers here? Again, 2. So 10 divided by 2 is 5. 16 divided by 2 is 8. And there are no more numbers that can divide both numbers here. So you're done. When you're done, if you multiply these front number here, that is your greatest common factor. And the number here gives you the simplest term. So 20 over 32, the simplest term is 5 over 8. Find the greatest common factor of 36 and 48. Again, do the upside down division. What can divide both numbers? 2 can divide both numbers. Can you think of a bigger number? I'll go with 4. 4 and 9. And 48 divided by 4 is 12. What is the number to divide both numbers? 3. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 4 is 12. And you are done. Multiply these two numbers. So the greatest common factor of 36 and 48 is 12. Let's practice some more. The greatest common factor of 15 and 30. 15 and 30. Take a look at these two numbers. 30 is multiple of 15. 15 times 2 is 30. So in this case, the greatest common factor of these two numbers is 15. But if you didn't catch that, go ahead and do the division. Think 5 can divide both because one is ending with 5, the other one is ending with 0. Okay, so 5 times 3 is 15, and 5 times 6 is 30. Okay, now 3. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 2 is 6. Multiply these two numbers, and the greatest common factor of 15 and 30 is 15. What is the simplest term of 4 over 21? We have to find the greatest common factor to reduce this fraction. Can you think of a number that divides both numbers? 2 can divide 4, but not 21. 3 can divide 21, but not 4. And 21 is not a multiple of 4. So there are no other common factors except 1. That means this is the simplest term. How about the greatest common factor of 4 and 21? Like we mentioned above here, there are no other common factors except 1. That means 1 is the greatest common factor of 4 and 21. Sometimes you have to find the greatest common factor of 3 numbers. So let's try these. Find the greatest common factor of these 3 numbers, 42, 36, and 84. We do the same thing. Do these upside down division. First, can you think of number that divides all 3 numbers? It can be 2. if they're all even numbers and you can't think of any bigger number than 2, just start with 2. So 42 divided by 2 is 21. 36 divided by 2 is 18. And 84 divided by 2 is 42. Now, what can divide all three numbers here? 3 can divide 21 and 18. But is 3 a factor of 42? So let's do 42 divided by 3 quickly. 1, 3, 12, and 4. So yes, 42 can be divided by 3. So do 3 here. 7 times 3 is 21. 6 times 3 is 18. And 42 divided by 3 is 14. Is there any other number that divides all three numbers here? No. 7 can divide these two numbers, but not 6. So we'll stop here and multiply these two numbers. The greatest common factor of these three numbers is 6. How can we do this multiplication, division, and find common factors quickly? You practice. You practice until you feel comfortable doing these quickly and correctly. Go ahead and find the greatest common factor of 21 and 42 and reduce 12 over 30 to the simplest term. I will set 45 seconds. Begin.